My name is Wafi, and today I'll be delivering a talk about leadership, a blueprint for Brunei's future. Now, let me ask a question before I begin my talk. Who raised their hand here who believe they are capable of being a leader? Can I see a raise of hand? Keep that in mind, because this talk is all for you. So, all right. So before I begin, I always have this saying that you are all built for tomorrow and you are rooted in yesterday. So what does this mean? This basically means that all of you are being capable leader, whether you are a student, someone who is working, or looking for a job, you are all leaders already. Because each of you have values that will actually uphold you to your day-to-day needs and your how to achieve your end goal. So this is something related to heritage and tradition. Now, tradition, it doesn't stop you there. We are told that if you have tradition, you have heritage, sometimes it will never bring you to the path you want. But that's wrong. Because with tradition, it will actually help you and navigate you through the ladder of progression. So this talk is specifically at handling how my experience as a leader based on Bruneian values helped as a blueprint for your progression. Now, in an age of acceleration in the IT and the digital world nowadays, Industrial Revolution 4.0, we are told, go fast or being left behind. But the problem is, even if you seek approval, it's 3 to 6 months also. So here's the catch. Today's mantra is all about speed. Accelerate. Don't get left behind. Escalate. That's what we were told. But remember, everyone, one thing. If you are going fast, but without any purpose, then you're making noises only. You don't have any end goal. So what does this mean? This means you are lost in transaction, in progression. So with that said, you have to have your values. Values that will actually impact you in long term as a leader and as an individual. So let me explain the blueprint. The first blueprint, respect. I like to call this core of influence. Now, a leader has to always be respectful, trustworthy to others, meaning to say that person has to show accountability, integrity, and admit they have mistakes. With this, people will put their trust. You build that influence to others, whether it be your people or other leaders. So that's the most important thing when you talk about trust, the core and influence in this case. Second one, teamwork. I like to call this the engine of progress. Now, let's imagine you were told to do a 25 million project alone. Would you be able to do it? Can you go silo? Even if you're Steve Jobs or Albert Einstein, you will not be able to do it because you need a team that helps you to achieve the aims and vision of that particular goal. Collaboration is very important. That's key. And finally, respect. The currency of relationship is very important. It doesn't matter if you're a senior manager, you're an acting vice president, or even the CEO of a company. You have to learn to respect your people, whether it's the normal officer or a clerk. Show respect. With that, you earned it. You don't get respect by being a boss. You get respect by actually showing that you care about them, that you show empathy. So these are the 3 values that actually makes me who I am today. And I always practice them. And this talk is actually to show how these 3 values will help you to also navigate yourself in your today's world. Now, I'll share you a story about my transformation program. So myself, I'm not actually an IT profession or someone from the procurement. I'm actually a historical student. But however, I believe learning is lifelong learning. So you need to actually learn, even though you don't know those things. So I've got several projects in the banking sector, in the telecommunication, and I realized something. And this something is that, yes, system is very important. When you want to introduce modernization in an organization, you have to have that system. No doubt, very important. But people became lost. What is the biggest asset in an organization or in a transformation? It's you all, the people. That is the most important asset when you come to transformation. It doesn't matter if your system is very much up to date or above the rest. So it doesn't matter. If the people does not cooperate or the people you don't pay attention to them, then there is no such thing as transformation. Because remember, you want to bring them inside the journey as well. You have to listen to them, you have to train them, and you have to support. So this is what I did when I was actually in tasked to do the project transformation in the banking sector and telecommunication. I use this principle, the values, the three values. I cooperate with them, teamwork. I have trust and I respect them. So Alhamdulillah, towards the end, this project was a success, even on time and on budget. So the most important thing, trust is your real infrastructure. People talk infrastructure is always about building. No, in this case, it's your trust, the most important thing. Now, let's talk about amanah, or in this case, your trust. So, let's say, for example, you are negotiating a contract. Because myself, I deal with contracts related to our nation production economy in Brunei. So I can tell you, it's a very difficult task, especially you're playing with numbers. Just like the previous speakers, numbers are very important. Numbers will actually dictate how you make a decision in an organization for the aims and vision of your organization. Now, you have to always ask yourself, am I acting on good long term? Is this going to be beneficial? Say, for example, I managed to save few millions, but at the expense, I push the vendor and I don't create any relationship. What will happen? Basically, yes, you have a name in that organization. However, are you acting on amanah? Are you building that trust, that respect, that collaboration, that space that you need to become a leader? So if you have this in place, I can say, inshallah, you'll be able to not only make your company happy, but at the same time, you're making a good relationship with your business partner, which is something sustainable in progression. Again, the three values is implemented here. Now, let me take back an era before the COVID era happened. So I was actually assigned to do a project called Digital Transformation for Royal Regalia, an audio guide project. So this project is not replacing Royal Regalia, but instead we are introducing new technology to help that gallery become accessible to all people, meaning to say, not only to the people in Brunei, but also to tourists who visit Brunei, because they want to learn the heritage and culture of Brunei. So why are we limiting ourselves only to textbook? So this is something that already is enrolled and is in Royal Regalia. You can have a check. I can tell you tomorrow Sunday, so bring your family. So with that said, this is actually a collaboration between my previous organization with MPRT and also Cultural Youth and Sport. So this project was implemented. So Alhamdulillah, I can say that we are giving birth or a new theater to Royal Regalia without losing the identity. Remember, we are respecting our heritage. So with this said, it now becomes accessible to the people's hand. Because nowadays, people are always having mobile phone or tab or computer. So this is very important. Again, preserving heritage. Now, in addition to that, I am also a mentor who specializes on helping graduates or people who are working to bring the potential in them. And I got this famous question asked by a lot of people or the mentees. So, who should I follow? And what should I follow? And I said to them, you should follow your values. That's the most important thing. Or, if that all fails, then follow your mother's advice. Because your mother's advice is very much important than LinkedIn. So that's the message. But in reality, we have to remember, the thing that you need to look is your value. The three values that is implemented. 2, look at your story. Look at your vision. Who you want to be. Would you like to become this person? That's the most important thing. 3, your strength. What is your capability? That capability will serve you long term. And 4, without your weakness. Why do I say weakness? Because your weakness is something that you have to actually mitigate. However, it will bring you in a long life journey to find yourself, to find the right path. So this is my mantra that I always said to my mentees. Never actually let your tradition or your values down, because it needs to be anchored in your everyday today life. So I can say with this, Alhamdulillah, over the span of 3 years, I under UBD Connect mentor, I have mentee more than 30 mentees, and they have progressed well in their life. So this is something that I want to share, that meaning to say the value is very important. Now, it doesn't stop there. Because I'm a man of many culture, I believe that you should not limit yourself to only your professional and mentorship. You can still have fun while doing the things you like. So you can evolve without erasing yourself. For me, whether it be in music, in contract management, in leadership, I always find the best is to strive a balance between all these three areas. One, you have to have logic and empathy. Meaning to say, when you want to be logical, you have to show sympathy to people. Three, you have to have progression, and also you need to be innovative at the same time. So meaning to say, with the progression, you have to have your purpose as well. And finally, data. As mentioned, data is very important. With data, you'll be able to make decisions. But don't forget, your way of working, your culture. That's the most important thing. So with this said, these three will actually help to evolve you without losing your identity. As demonstrated in this particular thing, I myself am a music producer and I help with many bands and we write songs, and I can say it still relates to our identity. So, rooted future, leading with identities. Brunei is rising, and Wawasan or Vision 2035 is no longer a vision. No, it's no longer a vision. In fact, now it's a call for action. Everyone needs to step up and be the best they can. How? By upholding your own values, the three values that you have: trust, respect, and also teamwork. Now with this, you will be able to actually evolve and also serve the country. Remember, we're years ahead from the 2035 vision. And remember, UBD just turned 40. So what does that mean? I'm getting older. That's one. Second, it's a milestone, but it's a mirror. It's a reflection of how we evolve from how we take tradition, heritage, and embody it into our day-to-day life as a leader, whether it be you're a student or someone who is already working or retiring. Now, how do we modernize, evolve, or grow without losing ourselves? The answer lies on rooted leadership. A leader who innovates while staying anchored in Bruneian identity. That's the most important thing when you want to evolve. That's my key message to everyone in the room who wants to be leader. You have to have that values. Whether be you're working in Brunei, you're working overseas, you have to keep that value. Remember, this value is already practiced since 1368, dated back in history. Now, transition forward doesn't mean you are staying behind. People always said, oh, you're practicing tradition, you're going to be left behind. I don't believe in those such things. Why? You see leaders nowadays, they have these values implemented already with them. So this is already a clear evidence that everyone is moving ahead. So it means moving ahead differently. Yes, we move differently, but we can welcome change boldly while keeping our identity intact. And this value, all of you must carry it with yourself. My final message as someone who used this value is that I would like to dedicate this to my mother who showed me the way, who asked me to always implement this value. I remember she has stroke back in 2016, and she taught me to always be like this, be kind, be respectful, and also always collaborate with people to bring the best, not only to yourself, but to the nation and to the people. So to everyone in this room, please use this value, use this blueprint. Inshallah, you make a contribution to Brunei Darussalam. With that said, I'll end my speech. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.